Hi, I'm Ryan Luxon, Mayor for the City of Richland. I want to start off by thanking the community for all the hard work they put forth to help us move to Phase 2. This pandemic has been an overwhelming burden, and the city's budget has been no exception. One of the greatest responsibilities of the City Council is to adopt the annual budget. The budget tells the story of the work the city plans to do. As City Council, we create the vision for the city. We must also adopt a budget that supports the work to get us there. In light of the COVID-19 pandemic, this process has never been more critical for Council.
Resolution number 112-18, adopting the Strategic Leadership Plan's 6 core focus areas.
In 2018, Richland City Council adopted the Strategic Leadership Plan and established the 6 core focus areas. In February of this year, we reviewed and refined this at our City Council retreat. The Strategic Leadership Plan establishes the Council's vision for the city and serves as the guiding document for staff as they identify key projects and infrastructure necessary to move our city forward. As I mentioned, the Strategic Leadership Plan categorizes our goals into 6 core focus areas. We use tools such as the Strategic Leadership Plan and budget to move our city forward and prioritize funds and resources. Sometimes unexpected factors outside of our control disrupt these plans. In 2020, we saw this on a very large scale with the coronavirus pandemic. Just as each of our daily lives were impacted, so were the city's work plans. City staff worked quickly and diligently to respond to the pandemic, ensuring operations continued with little to no impact to the citizens and businesses. With the economic shutdown, we weren't sure how the city's finances would be impacted. While we won't know the full scale of the short and long-term financial impacts to the city, early indications show the city is in a strong financial position. City Council's conservative budgeting philosophies have stood the test of time. We will continue to lean on them as we adopt the city's 2021 budget. The health and prosperity of our community is our top priority. For this reason, I, with the support of the full council, have worked hard to lobby for the safe reopening of our city. We've advocated for each and every business in Richland, and we recognize the balance of keeping our economy open with keeping our community safe. City Council approved the use of up to $700,000 of the city's CARES Act funds for utility payment assistance to those residents and businesses most affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. An additional $210,000 in community development block grants and CARES Act dollars were approved to fund the city's Economic Development Small Business Stabilization Loan Program. This program provides qualified small businesses located in Richland with the working capital to retain jobs. We will continue to advocate for our citizens and will turn to the State Department of Health and our local health district for guidance as additional businesses are allowed to open and recreational activities resume. As we prepare to reopen our city, know that your health and safety will continue to be top of our mind. As we move into 2021, we will continue to progress on Council's vision for a vibrant downtown. We continue to seek proposals for 505 Swift Boulevard, the previous City Hall site. This location is the key component of the city's downtown area. Council envisions a high-quality development that re-energizes our downtown. A high-density, pedestrian-friendly downtown core will enhance the area and increase economic vitality. To support this vision, Council recently adopted a recommendation for street modifications for north to south travel through central Richland. This decision was made after the completion of the Downtown Connectivity Study. Staff recently submitted an application for $416,000 in grant funding for design and engineering expenses. If the city is successful in obtaining these funds, project design will move forward in 2021. Investments in transportation infrastructure are necessary to support our growing community. In 2020, we will mark the grand opening of the Dupertale Bridge. Not only will this decrease commute and travel times, but it will also improve emergency services response times. Of the project's over $37 million budget, the city was awarded multiple state and federal grants totaling over $34 million. The city's financial contributions total just over $3 million. This project is an excellent example of the city's responsible stewardship of public resources. To pay for the interfund loan for the design costs of the bridge and support the city's pavement preservation program, a transportation benefit district was established in 2017. This allows for the collection of the car tab fee effective January 2018. However, in November of 2019, ballot initiative I-976 passed, impacting the Transportation Benefit District's authority to impose vehicle fees. While the bridge was paid for, the passage of I-976 jeopardizes future funding for the city's pavement preservation program. Before its repeal, Richland's Transportation Benefit District collected approximately $1.9 million. Of that, approximately $710,000 was allocated to the interfund loan for the bridge design, and approximately $1 million was allocated to pavement preservation. The city has identified additional necessary infrastructure investments on SR 240 to sustain the continued anticipated growth in our area. We've begun efforts to engage our state senators and representatives to garner support for improvements to the interchanges of SR 240 and Aaron Drive, as well as SR 240 and Van Giesen Street. We will continue to advocate for funding to advance project plans. We're fortunate to live in a thriving community. Despite the challenges related to COVID-19, new construction remains strong in Richland, especially for single-family dwellings. Revenues are down slightly from 2019, with building permit fees conservatively estimated at $1.3 million. Although fees are down slightly, the number of permits are up for 2019. These numbers have continued to trend upwards since April, when construction activity resumed. As City Council considers the 2021 proposed budget, know that we are committed to making investments in the city that will support generations to come, while we balance the need to remain conservative in our financial management practices. We look forward to you, the citizens' participation in this process. Thank you.
This year has been a challenge for all of us in one way or another. At the city, we've had to work quickly and thoughtfully to respond to our community's needs. The services the city provides affect our citizens' daily lives. Providing such services is not a responsibility that we take lightly. As we found ourselves in an economic shutdown as a result of a global pandemic, we recognized the need to adapt in order to ensure these services would go on without interruption. In planning for the 2021 budget, we had to reprioritize and find ways to position ourselves to remain adaptable to continued uncertainty. Despite these challenges, my proposed budget remains responsive to our diverse community needs and will support the continued supply of reliable services to our citizens. Hi, and welcome to an overview of Richland's proposed 2021 budget. I'm Cindy Rentz, your Richland City Manager. As a first-class, full-service city, we provide a vast array of essential services. Our continuity of operations, especially in the midst of COVID-19 crisis, is critical. It is our conservative budgeting and responsible financial management practices that have allowed us to put our community first in a response to the coronavirus. We continue to monitor these impacts to the city's revenues and expenditures, and while early data indicates better than anticipated revenues, we will not know the full impacts to our economy for months to come. For this reason, my proposed 2021 budget includes an overall reduction of over $18 million in appropriations from 2020. I am proud this budget supports all services our citizens have come to expect, without reductions or increases in taxes and fees. In March, the city's leadership team took swift action to ensure all critical services went on without disruption while keeping our employees safe. Our continuity of operations plan allowed us to remain responsive as the crisis evolved. While we were required by state mandate to close our facilities, we have mitigated impacts to services by utilizing technology and closely following the guidance of the CDC and our local health district. Since April, our municipal meetings have been held virtually. This was not an easy transition. However, staff has worked diligently to streamline this process and ensure accessibility and opportunity for public participation. We will continue to refine our processes until we are once again able to open our doors and hold our meetings in person. All building permit applications and plan submittals have been accepted electronically, and many inspections are now offered virtually. Our customer service staff and resources typically dedicated to in-person services were transitioned to supporting customers over the phone and by email. Processes were streamlined to allow for electronic forms. The city's online utility billing site was upgraded, offering additional self-service options such as viewing residential and commercial bills online, enrolling and managing auto pay, and starting services or paying finalized utility accounts. Our citizens love our community amenities and recreational programming. While it was not possible to mitigate the disruption to our city programs with the closures of the library, community center, seasonal pool, and ban on gatherings, staff found creative ways to bring virtual programming to the community, such as Board in a Box, Tri-Cities Carpool Cinema, summer reading program, and online library resources. On August 12th, we were able to open our library for curbside pickup by appointment. An overwhelmingly enthusiastic response was received by patrons, and the service continues to be very popular. The city acted promptly to respond to the challenges our community faced during COVID-19. While our role in the community is not to provide social services, helping our citizens access services and information has been and remains a priority. To facilitate this, the city created 3 dedicated web pages. One focused on general information related to COVID-19, one focused on resources for businesses, and the third outlining utility resources. The city's communications and marketing team worked tirelessly to support consistent messaging and information. Per state mandate, the city discontinued utility shutoffs in March and put a temporary freeze on delinquent fees. As a result, the city has seen a significant increase in unpaid utility bills. We have made alternate payment arrangements, including payment plans and equalized billing options. The city is committed to supporting our customers who have been faced with financial impacts as a result of the coronavirus. In addition, Richland partnered with the cities of Kennewick and Pasco to pool federal grant funds for maximum impact. In 2020, the 3 cities had an available $1.4 million for tenant-based rental assistance to provide rental units for individuals and families that are at or below 60% of the average median income and those who may be experiencing homelessness. These funds were also used to assist other social programs such as Meals on Wheels, Elijah Family Homes, and the Arc of Tri-Cities. The city prides itself on the success of these programs and the vital resources they provide in our community. I, along with the City Council and our neighboring cities and counties, have worked hard to support the safe reopening of our economy. Together, we participate in weekly phone calls with the local health district and regularly communicate with the representatives of the governor's office. In Richland, we have taken action to support our citizens and small businesses. The Economic Development Small Business Stabilization Loan Program was created to assist small businesses located in Richland that were economically impacted by COVID-19. A total of $210,000 in Community Development Block Grant and CARES Act funds were allocated. The city has also supported businesses through the issuance of temporary outdoor use waivers. The City of Richland was fortunate to be awarded approximately $2.5 million in CARES Act funding. The city invoices eligible expenses and receives reimbursement from the Coronavirus Relief Fund. To date, nearly half of that has been allocated to cover payroll expenses for employees dedicated to COVID-19, the purchase of personal protective equipment, expenses related to the communication and education of public health measures, and technology investments to support telecommuting capabilities. The city hosted 2 mass giveaway events where nearly 2,000 face coverings were provided to community members. In addition, our first responders were supplied with additional reusable face coverings to distribute to members of the community in need. The city held 2 employee blood drives, resulting in the donation of nearly 60 units of blood, and hosted an additional 5 community blood drives at the Richland Community Center. Our community saw an increase in food insecurity as a result of the pandemic, and our police and fire departments stepped up to assist Second Harvest with the critical need of distributing food to impacted individuals. While the city has worked hard to provide support through this challenging time, we have also been fortunate to receive an overwhelming amount of support from our community. Citizens and community members have donated food, supplies, and masks, and have said support by way of cards, notes, social media posts, and even painted rocks placed outside of our public safety response stations. When we look back at 2020, I hope we remember it was not for the challenges we all faced, but for the resilience of our community, the stories of neighbors helping neighbors, and how we all pulled together as one community. Although a significant amount of time and resources have been largely dedicated to the city's response to COVID-19, I am proud to share the success of a number of key projects which advance Council's vision for the city. This year, we adopted new software for communicating progress on city projects. This software, called ClearGov, has increased accessibility and transparency of information. We are continuing to work on implementing this software to take full advantages of the benefits it provides. I am very proud to report construction on the Dupertel Bridge is nearing completion within the projected project timeline and, more importantly, under budget. This project is the city's most impactful transportation investment and is a key example of the success of the city's planning, lobbying, and project execution. As mentioned by the Mayor, the Transportation Benefit District provided a significant funding source for our pavement preservation program. This funding was impacted by the passage of I-976 in November of 2019. The Washington State Supreme Court recently ruled to repeal I-976. However, given the nature of the complicated legal process, The Transportation Benefit District is not included in my proposed 2021 budget, a decrease of nearly $1 million. To help offset this, I have recommended the additional allocation of $500,000 in the general fund for pavement preservation, as it is essential as we plan for our future. In 2020, we completed the steps at Badger Mountain Trailhead Park and made progress on the Horn Rapids Landfill Scale House, which is scheduled for completion in late November. We also began construction on the Clubhouse Lane roundabout and road extension at the entrance of Horn Rapids. Weather permitting, this project is also planned for completion in November of this year. Progress continued on the city's Advanced Metering Infrastructure, or AMI. This multi-year project implements new meters and infrastructure that records energy and water usage and wirelessly delivers the information to the city. This eliminates the need for meter readers to visit homes and businesses each month to physically read the meter. I encourage citizens to learn more about this project by visiting the project page on our website. Work continues on the design and pre-construction of 2 new public safety response stations. This includes an additional facility, Station 7-5, and the relocation and replacement of Station 7-3. Station 7-5 will provide the coverage needed in the north central and northeast corners of the city. This coverage supports the areas currently home to PNNL, WSU Tri-Cities, Hanford High School, and 1,341 acres of current and future commercial and industrial businesses located in the area. To staff this station, the city committed to hiring 12 fire EMS personnel for full operational response capability. This was, in part, funded by the Federal Emergency Management Agency grant the city was awarded. 7 personnel were hired in February of this year and graduated from the Fire Academy in June. We are currently in the hiring process with plans to bring on the remaining personnel in February of 2021. In 2019, the city hired a new chief of police, John Bruce. While he has only been with us for just over a year, his leadership and experience has guided the Richland Police Department through a very challenging time in our nation's history. One of the most impactful changes we have seen in the police department this year is the adoption of a community policing philosophy. This philosophy includes the involvement of patrol officers in problem-solving activities to improve the quality of life in the city's neighborhoods. Also in 2019, the city entered into a partnership with Lord's Health to partner mental health professionals with local law enforcement agencies. The mental health professionals have dedicated office space in the police departments of Richland, Kennewick, and Pasco, making them available for regular ride-alongs with officers and to respond immediately to calls when needed. Calls and contacts utilizing this service saw a significant increase in 2020, more than doubling that of 2019. We look forward to the continued success of this program in 2021 and remain committed to doing our part to support mental health services in our community. In 2020, the police department saw continued citizen engagement through the community and police groups called CAP. This program takes advantage of social media and modern technology to refresh the way we have historically approached neighborhood watch groups and is one of the many innovative and creative approaches we have taken to engage with community members. The city proudly partners with many other agencies in our community. The city partnered with Energy Northwest on the Horn Rapids Solar Storage and Training Project, also known as HRSST. This innovative project utilizes solar technology with state-of-the-art battery storage. In 2021, the city will partner with the Port of Benton to reconstruct 5 at-grade railroad crossings in North Richland. We will also continue to work on a project with Benton PUD coordinating a transmission line build which will serve the Badger Mountain South area. The city affirms its commitment to attracting and retaining its top talent in alignment with our strategic leadership plan. Improving our succession planning efforts has been a priority to manage retirements with as little impact to operations as possible. One area of identified opportunity was within the fire department. To help plan for the future success of the department, my proposed budget includes an expanded program to include a deputy fire chief position. While supporting succession planning efforts, this position will allow the fire chief to focus on larger, more complex issues facing the industry, collaboration, and interagency agreement oversight. This structure is in alignment with other regional fire agencies. To support the success of the police department's community policing model, my proposed budget includes the addition of 3 new police officers. A successful community policing model divides officers' use of time on patrol into 3 major activities: dispatched, self-initiated, and administrative. If we have learned anything this year, it is that we cannot always predict factors that fall outside of our control. Our conservative approach to managing potential vulnerabilities positions us well to mitigate impacts and respond to crisis. As a result of COVID-19, the city expects a significant increase in jail expenses, and we are currently in negotiations with the county focusing on how we can mitigate this financial impact. As we move into 2021, daily life will continue to look different. Although we all long for a sense of normalcy, it will likely be some time before this is actualized. The city will remain steadfast in our commitment to remaining adaptable and responsive to community needs and ensuring the safety of our citizens. The coronavirus health crisis will undoubtedly continue to challenge us at the local, state, federal, and at a global level. Despite this, I remain optimistic and look forward to the day we can all safely gather. Finally, I wish to express my personal thanks to the hard-working employees of the City of Richland. Their dedication to the city and the individuals we serve was made evident this year. Despite the challenges faced, they never wavered on their commitment to public service and consistently rose to the occasion. I wish to thank City Council for their leadership and commitment to local government. I look forward to the reopening of our businesses and community amenities as soon as it is safe to do so. We remain committed to the health and safety of our community and will continue to work hard to protect citizens' exceptional quality of life. Richland is resilient and will remain so, and I have said time and time again, together we will get through this.
Hello, I am Brandon Allen, the City of Richland's Finance Director. I'd like to share some information with you about the budget process and how city funds operate. Each year, the city staff work with the city manager to develop a balanced budget to propose to City Council. A balanced budget indicates that the expenditures are equal to the revenues. However, this doesn't always mean that the expenditures and revenues match exactly. If revenues are greater than expenditures, the excess goes to reserves. And if expenses exceed revenues, reserves will be used to cover the difference. As directed by City Council, the City of Richland uses a conservative budget approach to our budget philosophies and practices, which includes maintaining a general fund reserve of 25% of expenditures. This is a financially responsible approach and has proved to be successful in helping the city endure economic uncertainty. This practice has positioned us well during the COVID-19 crisis. While we will not know the full impact of COVID-19 for months to come, I am optimistic that we will continue to navigate the financial impacts without significant effects to our citizens. The city has 43 different funds. The estimated revenues and appropriated fund balances in the proposed 2021 budget is over $287 million. This is a 5.8% decrease from 2020. The largest is the general fund. In 2021, the proposed budget for this is nearly $65 million. Police and fire and emergency service budgets account for about 40% of the general fund. The general fund also pays for our parks, public facilities, and library. Special revenue funds are used when we want to track an activity that is a specified revenue source, such as public safety sales tax, hotel motel tax, community development block grant and home grant funds, and city streets. Debt service funds are used to facilitate the city's regular debt service payments. Our capital project funds are used to track major city capital projects such as the Dupertel Bridge or construction of the public safety response stations number 73 and 75. The city is unique in the variety of services we provide. All the city utilities, including ambulance, operate out of enterprise funds. The Columbia Point Golf Course is also administered using this type of fund. Each fund operates as if they are their own business. Funds from one fund typically cannot be used to pay for expenses of another fund. State law has requirements around how the funds are managed. Just as the city has several funds, it also has several revenue sources. The largest revenue source is fees for services, such as our electric, water, sewer, and solid waste utilities. The revenues from these fees must go back directly into the funds to pay for the services and expenses, such as infrastructure and operations. The second largest revenue source for the city is taxes, which, for the most part, are recorded in the general fund. There are three major taxes collected by the city: property tax, sales tax, and utility tax. Together, these taxes make up approximately 98% of the tax revenue in the general fund. Property taxes are assessed based on a rate per thousand of property value. The more your property is worth, the more tax you will pay. Property values are set by the county and evaluated on a regular basis. The city only receives a portion of the property taxes collected by the county, about 21 cents for each dollar. The majority of the rest of the tax is distributed between the school district, state, and county. There are several factors that may impact your property taxes, such as increases by the state or county, or the school district may also increase their operating levy or present a bond issue for vote. In 2021, for the third year in a row, assessed values received from the county assessor increased a fair amount across the board. The total assessed value within the city of Richland increased approximately 5.7%, including new construction. The city's regular property tax levy is projected to decrease from $2.30 to $2.28 per thousand of assessed value. The sales tax rate in the city of Richland is 8.6%. However, the city only receives a fraction of the tax collected. For every dollar spent, the city receives 8.5 of 1 cent, or less than 1 penny. This equates to about 10% of the sales tax you pay. The majority of the sales tax you pay goes to the state, with the remainder being distributed to schools and the county. The city does receive some of the criminal justice sales tax. 60% is distributed to the county, and the remaining 40% is distributed to the cities based on population. This tax was approved by voters, and its use is limited to paying for public safety. Utility occupation tax, admissions tax, gambling tax, and leasehold excise tax are a few of the other taxes that make up smaller portions of the city's revenues. If you would like more information on the city manager's proposed 2021 budget, find it on the city's website. Thank you.